What a season for Bayer Leverkusen as they officially wrap up their first ever Bundesliga title, and not just their first title, but ending the long-time dominance of Bayern Munich. It's a win for everybody except Bayern Munich fans, and it's something to be celebrated, but I want to know, why can't they run it back again next year? Do we think they can? We're going to talk about that today here on Pints and Punditry at the Pitchside Pub. Welcome back to Pints and Punditry here at the Pitchside Pub. I want to talk about Bayer Leverkusen today, and not just what they've done this season, which has been fantastic, but the possibility of them running this back next year and doing it again and keeping all these key parts, because while it seems a little bit far-fetched, we may actually have a perfect storm of it being possible. And I want to talk about the possibility of that, and I want to get your comments. Get down in that comment section down below. Let me know what you think about if they can hold on to all these players and run this back again next year, make a run in the Champions League, make a run at back-to-back Bundesliga titles. I want to get your comments. Get in that comment section down below. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Pitchside Pub and let me know what you think on there. If you're going to all that trouble, make sure you follow the channel. Hit that subscribe button for me down below. And if you haven't already, check out our website, pitchsidepub.com. We got a free newsletter on there that you can subscribe to, and we'll be sending you lots of content as we go. Bayer Leverkusen, as they go, my goodness, what a run in the Bundesliga this season. And we would assume, because they are not your traditional dominant power in the league, like Bayern Munich, like Borussia Dortmund, that, oh, now it's time to sell all these parts off, and that was fun, but it's all going to be over. And it's not that we assume that's going to happen, but there is so much potential for it to happen because people have been coming for their coach. Xabi Alonso has been linked with a dozen jobs over the course of the past few months. And they have great players like Florian Wirtz and Jermaine Frimpong, and these guys that are highly touted and young. And the Bundesliga has been seen as this developmental league for so long, which I know is disparaging because the Bundesliga is fantastic. I love watching the Bundesliga. I try to watch as much of it as possible. I've seen a ton of Leverkusen games because they are so exciting to watch with these wingbacks just flying up the sides, and it's fun. It's fun football. So I don't mean to disparage it, but let's call it like we see it. Even the second biggest team traditionally in the Bundesliga, or at least for the past decade or so, Borussia Dortmund, has sold off the likes of Erling Haaland and Jude Bellingham, and they are clearly a developmental club. Everybody but Bayern Munich has been looked at as a developmental club because their best players, as they grow, they go on to bigger clubs. And so that's just sort of been the assumption here with Bayer Leverkusen, is that that's what's going to happen. And these, particularly with their really young, talented players. A guy like Granit Xhaka might have found a home and stay there for a little while. But guys like Wirtz, who they could easily sell for close to 100 million euros, or Frimpong, who's been linked with City, where he was an academy player at one point, and he could go for an easy 50, if not more. And it's a chance for them to really cash in. And at some point, some club is going to make a Godfather offer to Xabi Alonso, and the concept here is other clubs will be able to offer things that Bayer Leverkusen can, right? Because the Bundesliga is not the top league in the world. That's the Premier League. It's pretty fairly obvious. So a better level of competition is always a way to challenge oneself. Hey, it's great that Xabi Alonso won the Bundesliga, but could he win the Premier League with Liverpool, right? Or with Chelsea, or any of the other clubs that would love to have him? To his credit, he has said he's coming back, which is the first key factor here towards potentially being able to run this back. Because that's what I want to talk about, is how realistic is it to say they could run this back again next year and with largely the same squad. If you've watched my content, you know that I am always in favor of players and coaches staying where they are. Particularly when it's at a club that is not one of the historical powers. It's not Bayern Munich, it's not PSG, it's not Barcelona or Real Madrid, it's not Man City, it's not Liverpool, it's not Arsenal, all these big clubs. When a little club, I hate saying little club, but when a non-major power club, right, manages to sort of break through and make that run, I love seeing those clubs hold on to their players. I wish Brighton was able to hold on to more of theirs, and they could if they wanted to, but they don't. I wish, the Girona this year, I hope they can hold on to some of theirs. And with Bayer Leverkusen, they didn't just break through and make a cute run that's going to end up in third place, and hey, we get some Champions League football like Union Berlin did a couple years ago. No, they went out and won the damn league. They won the whole damn thing. They ended a decade-long run of dominance by Bayern Munich. This isn't just, hey, we're at the party now. It's, we won the whole damn thing. And so it would be such a shame to see this just immediately dismantled. And so you have to ask two questions. One, does Bayer Leverkusen, are they able to offer things that other clubs can? And two, do they have the money to keep these players? Because these guys are going to want raises, they deserve raises, and for them to stay, they're going to turn down raises from other clubs. And that's the key, is if Man City comes calling for Jermaine Frimpong and offers Bayer Leverkusen, 60 million euros transfer, well, Leverkusen can go, no, we're going to hold on to him. We want to do this again next year. But Frimpong's saying, hey, I kind of want to go. I want all that money. They're going to triple my salary, right? So Leverkusen now has an unhappy player, and they're going to have to triple his salary to make him happy. So there's two sort of avenues to this, is can they offer the things the big clubs are offering, and do they have the money to back it up? Well, the first one, yeah, kind of, because now they can offer Champions League football, and that's always one of the big draws, is, well, I've had, fill in the blank of press conference you hear from a player. I loved my time here at so-and-so club, but I've always wanted to play Champions League football. It's why Declan Rice is at Arsenal. It's why Jack Grealish is at Man City. There are countless examples. Those are the first two that come to mind, but there are countless examples of players who came up with clubs, had a ton of success, and then jumped to a bigger club because they want to play. They want to have the chance to play Champions League football. Well, hey, guess what? Bayer Leverkusen just provided that for all their players. So there's one excuse to not leave, right? Florian Wirtz can't say, well, I'd really like a chance to go play Champions League football. Hey, got it in-house, buddy. We got Champions League football at home. So what's your next excuse? Well, I'd like to be paid more. Well, by winning the Bundesliga, Bayer Leverkusen is going to get a payment from the league of 75 million euros. It's a lot of money they get for winning the league. That is just about equivalent to their entire salary. Their entire payroll last year was roughly the same. So they can pay their entire salary just with their prize money without any of the revenue they're gonna make from this run, for ticket sales, from jerseys, from Champions League football next year. They don't have to spend an additional dime, but they can. This is extra money. So if they want to give every one of these players a raise, they can afford to do it. They can double Florian Wirtz's salary. They can double Adam Holozic's salary so he doesn't go anywhere. They can triple Jermaine Frimpong's salary so he doesn't go, hey, I'd like to go play for Man City because, hey, I'm making just as much money here and I'm going to get to go to the Champions League. So yeah, now I'm a little happier staying. Now, it's still not the Premier League. And if a player wants to test themselves in the highest level of competition day in and day out, not just in Europe, but domestically, yes, the Premier League offers that and the Bundesliga does not. And that could be an argument, which is why this will be tough. But Bayern Munich has had no problem holding on to their players largely over the course of their careers. They have a lot of longtime players who are very happy staying there. And yes, they win the league every year. They get to collect a bunch of trophies. They get to go to the Champions League. But they have not necessarily jumped to bigger and better leagues. Not all. Some have. But many have not. Bayer Leverkusen has a chance to get to that point, to create a situation where it's like La Liga, where you've got a 1A and a 1B, and not everybody's looking to jump to the Premier League with Barcelona and Real Madrid. Maybe they can displace Borussia Dortmund as that club. This was what we expected Dortmund to be for all these years. And Bayer Leverkusen rolled up to the party with Xabi Alonso and said, hey, you've had plenty of chances and you pissed them away. It's our turn now. We're going to be the other big guy. And so maybe they can establish themselves as the other big club in Germany that players don't want to leave. You don't see a lot of people clamoring to leave Barcelona, clamoring to leave Real Madrid, because even though they go out and they dominate the league largely, it's still that kind of club. There's a possible changing of the stars here. It's very difficult to do that. Leicester City was not able to do it because they made bad decisions. They re-upped a lot of aging players, and they got old very quick. They sold some, they sold the wrong guys. We'll see what Leverkusen does here. But they have a chance to really change, not just this season, obviously that's already done, but to change the entire dynamic in the Bundesliga and to establish themselves as the 1B to Bayern Munich's 1A. And maybe it becomes a 3-team race if Dortmund can continue to sort of get their act together. But again, they've always been sellers. The one team in the Bundesliga that is not traditionally a seller is Bayern Munich. And Leverkusen has a chance to build a nice, young, core here around some of those really dynamic young players who contributed so well so early in their careers, and keep them around and at least do this for one more year. Xabi Alonso is the key here. If he was leaving, you'd be seeing a lot more players potentially walking out the door. But the fact that he has said he's going to stay, and hey, listen, we got a lot of time this summer to talk about this and to see if that changes, because he may not. He may get an offer that he can't refuse and change his mind. But if Xabi Alonso stays, he's the domino. He's the linchpin here holding it together. If he sticks around, some of these other players might say, you know what? Let's do this again. How good would this team have been in the Champions League this year? I think they'd still be alive and making a run. I think if Dortmund can still be in there, they can definitely still be in there. So there may be enough intrigue to make them want to keep the band together and make a real run at a real treble that involves the Champions League next year. And that may be just enough to let them do this again, and having that kind of success a couple years in a row, if they can pull it off, is enough to really change the hierarchy structure of a league and announce to Bayern Munich and everybody else, hey, this was not a one-year fluke. This, I hate to put Leicester in that situation and to call them that, but that's basically what it was. They had one dominant year, they won, and they've fallen on hard times, and now they've been relegated. They want to prove that they're not that. They need to hold on to some of these pieces, and they've got a chance to do that. So I think the influx of cash makes it possible for winning the league. It's a big payment that they can use to reinforce their own player salaries and payrolls and keep some of these guys intact. And I think the key is Xabi Alonso sticking around. The fact that their manager is sticking around to do this again and to run it back makes it all possible. Some money and the coach stays, Champions League football, 1, 2, 3, you've got a hell of a sales pitch to keep these guys around. Those are my thoughts. That's what I think. I think Leverkusen has a chance to stick around, but I would love to hear your comments down below. Get down in that comment section. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter at PitchsidePub. You can leave your comments on there as well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me down below. And, of course, check out the website, pitchsidepub.com. Thanks, as always, for joining us here at the Pitchside Pub.